Thank you. Yeah, my name's Rick. I'm an engineer at Lightning AI, and I'm going to be talking about building the NeurIPS LLM Efficiency Challenge Leaderboard. For those of you who are not aware, NeurIPS actually hosts a number of challenges before the conference. One of them this year is the Large Language Model Efficiency Challenge, where you're given 1 day, 1 GPU, to train and fine-tune 1 LLM. There are an approved list of different models and data sets which you can use. This is just a small subset of the ones that are actually available. But the idea is that you take an LLM, you grab some data, and you train it on your own model. And it's got to be on one of 2 approved pieces of hardware, an NVIDIA A100 or an RTX 4090. How good can you make these models after just 24 hours of training on some relatively, consumer-grade hardware? You submit the model, and it's evaluated via this thing called Helm. For those of you not familiar, it's basically just a QA-style program which will actually evaluate the performance. And then we want it reproducible, which is actually probably just as hard as getting DALL-E 3 to spell reproducibility correctly. Try it if you haven't, it's ridiculous. But we've got to be able to reproduce those results. And for that, we've got the LitGPT starter kit. I'll talk about what's actually in this, but we sponsored this starter kit, and it basically contains everything you need to make a submission. So what is a submission? Well, we've got to have some way to actually run Helm against your program. So what we ask for is a zip file that contains a Docker file setting up your code, your dependencies, your model weights, and an HTTP server. Now, that HTTP server has to have 2 endpoints available, predict and tokenize, because Helm is going to hook into there and actually call those endpoints and evaluate the output of your model against some set of tasks, as well as like a holdout task, which we're going to use as like the secret kind of, in order to not share everything with how you're evaluating. So we've got a eval bot we created on the NeurIPS Leaderboard challenge, and you can send it help text, you can send it to evaluate this zip file that you upload, and then get your status and the scores. So this is just kind of your basic interaction with evalbot. When I want to evaluate, some model Docker file that I've actually uploaded, I'm going to hit evalbot eval A100, send it my zip file, and it's going to get back to me and say, okay, great, I've now accepted your submission. I'm going to start building it, it's in queue, it's running, then it's a success. And it's going to actually send me back all of my scores. So once I register with the challenge, these scores become public on the leaderboard, they're attributed to me, and we know exactly how everybody's doing. And these are just a subset of the tasks. So that's pretty cool, but how does this work? Well, we've got an on-prem cluster containing A100s and 4090s. These are actually owned by Lightning, by us, firewalled off. It's a Slurm cluster. So on those, we've got a Lightning agent running. And those need to pull for jobs to run, pull down, build the Docker file, and actually submit onto the cluster to run Helm against. And then we've got users on the other side. So we decided to build Discord bot like you just saw. It talks to just the Discord API via their standard interfaces, and talks to a leaderboard server. Now that leaderboard server is actually what kind of coordinates all of this together. And the Lightning agents pull it. Those are running outbound connections only, because they're firewalled off, and they pull the data from S3. So to date, we've had over 1,100 submissions by over, I think, 110 individual contributors. And the challenge ends in just a few days here. So if you're interested, check it out. Thank you very much. I work for Lightning, and we are hiring. So stop by and see us.